そういうとこだよ。だからあんたは特別で、俺たちにとって貴重な存在なんだ。
Underground prison in the capital. Trip, trip. Accompanied by the sound of falling water droplets, several dragons agonize Ross echoes from a certain prison cell once more. You glance at the armored guard standing to the side, but his expression remains impassive. Calm down. I need to first find a way to enter the capital through this round of recruitment, then retrieve that medal. As long as the throne is reclaimed, everything will return to how it was. Taking a deep breath, you gaze down the long corridor once more. In the past, this place was not a prison for dragons. For centuries, the Kalas continent and this place were governed by your royal family. However, a great war many years ago changed everything. Before the royals went to the battle, they entrusted the capital to the minister. Yet the conflict proved unprecedentedly fierce, causing all your kin to be stranded in the distant land. To live up to your responsibilities, you were ordered by the royal court to reclaim the throne. But when you finally returned here after countless trials, you discovered everything had changed. Town outside the capital. Due to the royal's absence, the minister became the absolute ruler. His ambitions and desires now grow more apparent by the day. And now, the peace you once created has completely eroded. The further north you travel toward the capital, the more you hear of his horrifying methods.
スラーナさん、聞きました？あと少しでまた戦争が始まるって。
やあ、ハンナ。もちろん聞いたよ。今度は国境の西にあるシャクナを攻撃するんだってね。
ひどい話ですよね。戦争のたびに税金をしこたま徴収して、先月だって300ラクロンも出したばかりなのに。このままじゃ J 円にも契約者に応募してもらわないと家計が破綻しちゃうわ。
応募ってそれ本気かい？
はい。選抜を通過したり、竜に選ばれたり、竜として功績を上げるごとに報酬が支払われるそうですからね。
Oath bearing, chosen by a dragon. As you browse the selection of rations at a small stall, the conversation between the vendor Solana and a woman named Hannah catches your attention. In the Kalas continent, the tradition of humans forming pacts with dragons spans centuries. Only royals could deeply resonate with them without retribution after forming a pact. Commoners weren't entirely barred from this privilege, but the odds were abysmal. Under the old ways, they would seldom have a chance to approach dragons at all.
ハンナ、一言だけ忠告しておくよ。何があっても妙な考えだけは起こしてはいけない。角に住むエマニュエルさんのことは知っているだろう？あそこはまさに応募したせいで息子を2人も。あんたは旦那にも同じ目に遭ってほしいのかい？
もちろん分かってます。でも、そうでもしなきゃ来月の税金だって払えないんです。
Hannah leaves the stall, her face ashy with worry. Sulana shakes her head as she watches her walk away. In today's Kalas, war and poverty spread like a plague. Peace and prosperity linger only in the capital.
神よ、どうかジェイエンがエマニュエルさんのようになりませんように。
Hello, I need this.
ああ、すまないね。全部で3ラクロンだよ。
Here you are. Say, I couldn't help overhearing your chat with Hannah. Has the capital issued some new decree? As Solana accepts the coin, she eyes you up and down.
なるほど。この町の人間ではないんだね。そうだよ。4ヶ月ほど前、この国の大臣が戦争に勝つため、各地で竜と契約できる人間を集め始めたんだ。
Commoners and dragons? How is that possible?
その結果、どういうわけか、戻ってきた人間は全員体調を崩してしまって。話に出たエマニュエルさんの家なんて息子を2人も亡くしてしまったんだ。けど金銭的な事情からそれでも応募したいという人間はいるようだけどね。
It's not hard to tell the minister has grown increasingly unhinged, treating the citizens as disposable fuel to control their dragon kin through vile
こ
means.
んな暮らしがいつまで続くのやら。
Perhaps when the royals return.
しあんた命が惜しくないのかい？
Before you can finish, Sulana clamps a hand over your mouth. She glances around furtively, ensuring no patrolling guards overheard before releasing you.
こんな場所でなんてことを口にするんだい。王都はすぐそこなんだよ。どこに大臣のスパイが潜んでるかもわからないのに。とにかく今後はなるべく関わらないようにするんだよ。じゃないとろくな目に遭わないからね。
I'm only stating facts. Have you never considered it?
それはみんなもそう思ってるさ。けどもう手遅れなのさ。あの城壁にかつての炎が灯ることをまだ想像できるかい？
Sulana wipes her face, gaze drifting to the unlit fire basket crowning the distant ramparts. It's a symbol built in every callous territory, only ignited when the royals hold the throne. You study Sulana, then the milling crowds of worried faces along the streets, your brow furrows. Throughout your journey, you've pondered how to reclaim the throne and restore stability to Callus. Now your resolve solidifies. Conceal my identity. Infiltrate the capital through recruitment. Once I find the medal, everything will be set right. It's a gamble, but it's the only path forward. In the end, you pass the selection process as planned, brought here with the others to await the dragon's choice. You also uncover the grim reality behind recruitment. Aside from traditional pact ceremonies, commoners can choose to ingest forbidden elixirs to briefly resonate with dragons. Has the minister truly lost all humanity? The elixir does grant power briefly, but commoners ultimately pay with their lives. The lucky ones might waste away in setbacks, but the vast majority... Sulana's words about Emmanuel's family echo in your mind, filling you with sorrow.
おい、お前の番だぞ。
Before long, a guard's voice breaks your train of thought as the cell door creaks open. Two other guards drag a man out from inside. Terror contours his features as he convulses as through witnessing a nightmare in the flesh. Still puzzling over his condition, you're unceremoniously shoved into the cell. In the prison. The iron gate slams shut, stirring up dust that makes you cover your nose and cough. The cell is dark, damp, and filthy. A rat even scurries past your feet, nimbly vanishing into a nearby sewer.
おやおや、今度はまた随分と特別なお客が来たね。
A playfully mocking voice rings out from behind. Turning, you find yourself facing a young man dressed as a ranger. His eyes are of a color striking enough to give the illusion that gazing into their violet depths would trap you in a mesmerizing whirlpool.
そんなにじっと見つめてどうしたの？もしかして見とれちゃったとか？
Why is someone else here? This is clearly a cell for dragons. Looking at the young man before you, knowledge from your royal education flashes through your mind. Certain dragons possess the unique ability to take human form. You're a dragon who can shape-shift?
本当に珍しいね。俺を見ても怖がらない上に、知識まで備わってるなんて。でも、俺のことを竜って呼ぶのはやめてくれる？嫌いなんだよね、響きが。俺の名前は泉圭。あんたは？
Marius speaks as though you're old friends, his tone breezy and casual. This dynamic feels peculiar. In the capital, Dragon King have always been subservient to humans.
黙ってないで何か言ったら？ここに来る人間はみんな俺に選んでほしいみたいだけど、あんたは違うの？
Marius toys with a lock of his hair, his expression growing playful. His words also remind you that in his eyes, your identity is not that of royalty, and you are currently being assessed by him. Of course, it would be my greatest honor if I could be chosen by a Dragon King. My name is Shiraira.
いい名前だね。どこから来たの？
As Marius approaches you, each step accompanied by the grating of chains against stone. A small border town called Wainwright. It's nothing special. Compared to the capital, it's just an unknown backwater. To conceal your identity, you have woven a flawless backstory for yourself using tales gathered on your journey.
ウェルライト。強そうなところだね。
The chains pull taut as Marius halts. Now there is but a step's distance between you and him. You await his next query, but he defies your expectations by pulling you close, your cheek nearly brushing his. Now then he delicately sniffs your neck. What are you doing?
悪いね。嗅ぎ慣れた匂いがして、つい確かめたくなっちゃった。
Marius maintains his proximity to your neck. Through his lips utter apologies, daring rather insincere. You and I have never met.
確かにそうかもね。でも俺の直感は外れたことがないんだ。よし。俺たちが次にすべきことが分かったよ。
Marius adopts his original stance. Eyes lock on you. You catch a fleeting glimpse of sleep pupils in his eyes before they revert to normal.
はい。それじゃあ、そろそろ真実を話してもらおうか。
Truth? As he speaks, Marius reaches out to caress your cheek with his left hand, his eyes shimmering with an eerie violet glow. But strangely, you find yourself not resisting his touch, even though he is a dragon and you...
ほら、肩の力を抜いて。怖がらずにさらけ出せばいいよ。俺の前ではどんなあんたでいてもいいからさ。それに、もう分かってるでしょ？真実だけが全ての呪縛を解く鍵になるって。聞かせて。あんたは一体何者で、何をしにここへ来たの？
His right hand plucks the fragment by the name of time within thin air before your eyes. His whispered words are as alluring as the birth of the stars and moon. Marius' eyes are just as you thought. Stare too long and you'll be lost in their violet vortex. In a daze, you see a flash of white light. Time freezes in the void as the cell sheds its shadows, transforming into a one-way mirror. In the mirror's reflection, you see blooming flowers in the courtyard and smiling relatives engaged in conversation. Everything is so warm, as though you never left the capital or endured exile.
ここは安全だ。誰もあんたを傷つけない。
A voice carries on the wind, gently coaxing your hidden secrets out of you.
さあ、教えて。あんたは誰？
You are a child of this continent. Descendant of the royal line that has governed Kalos for centuries, your senses are keener than most, your mind more lucid and rational. I am. The admission of your identity is on the cups of spilling from your lips when the face of the man dragged from the cell door flashes unbidden through your mind. His expression warped by sheer terror as though witnessing a living nightmare. This face, absent from your memories, jolts you to full alertness, shattering the illusion of an idyllic past you can never return to. You tried to test me with mind control. Snapping out of the trance, you angrily slapped Marius' hand away and seized him by the collar. So, this is how you toy with everyone brought in for selection. Despite having his ploy exposed, Marius' expression remained somewhere between a smirk and a smile, not the least bit ruffled.
ひどい言い草だね。選別なんだから試して当然でしょ。ちょっとしたテストで彼らの意志の固さを試しただけだよ。
You.
今はそんなことよりも自分の心配をした方がいいんじゃない？
What? Marius pushes your hand away, retreating a few steps. The smile on his face only grows.
この際だからはっきり言わせてもらうが、あんたは彼らだ。
I don't follow.
無知なふりをしても無駄だよ。俺には彼らの匂いが分かってるし、ここまで早く支配から抜けたことがあるのも彼らだけだ。
Without a doubt, he has already figured out who you truly are. Marius arches a brow, glancing outside the cell before turning back to you, a silent challenge in his gaze.
しらばっくれててもいいけど、俺があんたの秘密をばらしたらどうなるだろうね。この場で俺に失格判定を出される前に正直に話したら？じゃないと正確に評価もできないしね。あんたが大臣との交渉材料に使える人間なのか、それとも。
Marius' intent is clear. He has his own goal to achieve. It just depends on which way he should tip the scales. You've never encountered a dragon like him, but since he has desires, you can exploit them to your advantage. Some things are self-evident once you know the truth. If you grasp that, then you should understand my purpose here. Though I will offer you a friendly warning.
へえ、忠告。
Open your eyes, Marius. Look at the state of the callous continent now, then look at the cell around you. Do you honestly believe handing me over to the minister will earn you just rewards? Isn't that a little naive? If you take that route, I dare say you'll only be squandering a golden opportunity to make your wishes come true. Who do you trust more? Us, who at least strove for peace in the past, or him who now sits in a lofty position above everyone? Marius, if you are choosing the lesser of two evils, who should you side with? Surprise flickers across Marius' face. You add another weight to your side of the scale. Of course, you could opt for neither, kick me off the list of candidates and pretend none of this ever happened. But I can tell you're not a fan of the current state of affairs. After a long, heavy silence, Marius lifted his gaze to meet yours. In that moment, you know you've won this round. He has no way out.
わかった。あんたの方にかけるよ。
We have a deal. Since you've made your choice, feel free to inform the gods. And let them know I don't intend to use the forbidden elixir. I will form a pact with you through the traditional ceremony.
いいの？あんたなら多分薬物の影響を受けないから儀式の方がかえって危険なのに。ああ、なるほど。自分の特別さを他方に見せつけて手っ取り早く城の内部に入るつもりなのか。
You're quite astute, Marius.
お褒めいただき光栄です。でも実際儀式では何が起こるかわからないけど、それでもいいの？
Marius is referring to the return to truth state dragons enter during traditional ceremonies. In Return to Truth, dragons lose consciousness and create an illusion with their most primal essence. The Oathbearer must maintain their own will, taming the dragon within the illusion and rousing it. Only then they can break free of Return to Truth together. Failure to subdue the dragon or succumbing to its temptations leads to a shared fate, the fate in which the Oathbearer and dragon spiral into madness and ruin. To gain anything worthwhile, one must pay the price. For me, this is the only chance I have. By the way you ask, are you afraid?
まさか。ちょっと聞いてみただけだよ。
He stops a switch. Marius strides over to the cell door to relay his decision to the guards. Bedroom. Tonight, the sky is heavy and dark, devoid of stars. As you opt to attend the traditional dragon fight ceremony, you are granted preferential treatment and esteem. Marius is also escorted back to your quarters. He currently occupies the armchair by the window, flipping through a book procured from somewhere in the room. Watching him, you can't help but find it a novel sight. You can read?
まあね。何？そんなにおかしい？
Not at all. I've simply never met such a scholarly dragon. Marius doesn't respond. His gaze lingers on the window for a spell before settling on you.
今なら監視もいないし、安心して話ができるね。それで、選別を利用してオートに入って、その後はどうする計画だったの？目的を果たしたいなら、あんたと俺の二人じゃ足りないと思うけど。
Revealing just enough can win you some of his trust. You mull over how to phrase your words. Well, of course, I'll find a way to prove my identity to everyone. Spread word that the royals have returned.
身分の証明ね。大臣から王権勲章でも奪うつもり？
The royal medal is a symbol of power in the Kalos continent. Before the Great War, it was entrusted to the minister as a token of faith. You nod to Marius in affirmation. There's no need to share your other objective after obtaining the medal.
なるほどね。
Marius murmurs pensively to himself, not engaging you further. In the sleepless night, the only sound of turning pages remains. Altar. Days later, the pact ceremony takes place as scheduled. The altar lies deep within the capital. The gigantic pillars engraved with dragon motifs stand tall, just like how you remember them, though they have become crowded in vines due to the passage of time. Step by step, the priest ascends the altar. Marius and you wait side by side below.
俺って意外とついてるのかもな。あんたならただの副葬品にならずに済みそうだ。
Marius suddenly speaks. Huh? What?
別に。あんたは知らなくてもいいことだよ。でも。
Before Marius can elaborate, the priest who has now reached the top of the altar interrupts your exchange.
お二方、まもなく儀式を始めます。準備はよろしいですか？
You both nod to the priest. At his command, the guards ignite the central brazier, and the atmosphere turns solemn in an instant. The priest joins his hands together, raising them overhead. He recites the invocation to commence the ceremony in a resounding voice.
神をご覧あれ。 星々の籠ありて、我らは禁忌をもって赤の砲術のちぎりをなす。契約者と竜は神と血を捧げ、配信の許されぬ誓いを結ぶ。そのちぎりは気骨に宿り、人心の導きなくして滅することあたわず。
The invocation is complete. The priest tosses the ceremonial instruments and ritual powders into the brazier one by one. Then he turns to you and
お
Marius.
二方、どうぞ前へ。
Following the priest's instructions, you ascend the altar together. Marius and you stand on the same side of the brazier facing each other. Under the roaring flames, his features appear somewhat warped, his expression unreadable in the flickering firelight. Once the binding vows are exchanged, you accept the metal dagger proffered by the priest. With deft movements, you slice off a small lock of hair and toss it into the brazier of azure flames. Then, unflinchingly, you nick the tip of your index finger, letting crimson droplets fall to mingle with the blaze. You pass the dagger to Marius. He pauses for a few seconds before mimicking your actions, adding a lock of his own hair and a few drops of blood. The only difference is that when his blood drips into the brazier, it flashes an eerie violet hue.
これで儀式は以上です。神のご加護がありますように。
The priest bows to you, then descends from the altar, leaving only Marius and you atop it. You watch the guards mechanically and skillfully set up curtains around the altar's perimeter from this elevated vantage point. They scatter glimmering white containment powder to prevent any mishaps. Suddenly, you grasp the implication behind Marius' earlier words. Marius, when you said burial goods, did you mean dragons? He doesn't directly answer your question. His eyes darkly observe the guard's movements.
募集が始まってすぐ、金銭を求めて竜と契約しようとする人間が殺到したんだ。彼らは契約時、自分が選ばれし者になれたと思い込み、そして、全員が例外なく死んだ。人間に訪れた死が、自らの盲信の代償だとしたら、竜の存在は副葬品みたいなものでしょ。
The sorrow in Marius' voice sends a chill down your spine. You open your mouth to say something, but he shakes his head.
上から目線の哀れみなんて不要だよ。もちろん下にいる奴らも同じだ。竜を人類の舞台に欠かせない小道具か何かだと思ってる。本当に滑稽だよ。
Marius' words are just like a type of riddle. They bear the truth, yet the meaning behind them is inscrutable. Before you can ponder further, a dark mist suddenly surrounds Marius, carrying an encompassing fragrance and a sense of danger. The next instant, you feel something tighten around your calves and waist. Marius' dragon tail has coiled around you. He has already partially shifted into his draconic form, with twisted horns sprouting from his forehead and unusually sharp fangs. His massive wings are already unfurled, beating behind his back. The blue flame burns brighter, and the eerie violet glow intensifies. You tense, alert to Marius' every move. You fear that a moment's distraction will cause you to succumb to his temptation. Marius' tail change tight around your waist, immobilizing you. He leans in, tilting his head up to draw near, his form wreathed in whips of mist. No, don't you try to tempt me. You attempt to evade Marius' approach, instinctively leaning back. But this resistance brings a dull ache to your temples.
抵抗しないで。あんたに痛い思いはさせたくない。こっちを見て。少しは楽になるから。
I won't give you the chance. The more you try to escape, the more intense the pain around your temples grow. Marius' voice, filled with warmth, drifts to your ears once more.
どうして俺を信じようとしないの？痛がっているあんたを見ているのは辛い。これは本心だよ。一度でいいから試してみよう。ほら、肩の力を抜いて。
His tone holds a puppy-like enticement. Involuntarily, you lower your guard a little. The sensation of pain vanishes without a trace.
ほらね、言った通りになった。嘘じゃなかったでしょ。
Gossamer curtains dance in the breeze, motes of luminous white stardust rising with the wind, igniting subtle ripples of emotion. The same attraction you felt in the cell surges anew. Vertical floral patterns appear in your vision again. Unconsciously, you relax your strength. A sense of fullness suffuses your entire being, gentle and
そう。
soft.
それでいいんだ。
Marius breathes your name like a lover's whisper. Your hand and his unconsciously clasp together. The unique sensation spreads from your arms throughout your whole body. Coupled with the brush of a gentle breeze, you feel as though you've drifted far from the capital and the altar, stumbling into a fantastical realm.
俺の目を見て答えて。あんたには何が見える？
Marius presses his forehead to yours, his fingertips traveling along your neck, leaving a tingle in the awake. Obediently, you gaze into his eyes. Through the glimmering galaxy in their depths lies a vibrant field of green. Is that a forest?
森はあれが具象化したもので、あれには別の名前がある。近づけばもっとよく見えると思うよ。
As Marius moves, you seem to brush against his cheek. What you behold in his pupils is a bizarre reality. Peering past the lush greenery, you abruptly find yourself astride a giant violet dragon soaring through the skies. Sunlight falls in scattered rays as hundreds of birds soar in the sky. The breeze tussles your banks. It all feels so real.
気に入った？ここには紛争もなければ憎しみもない。あるのは自由だけだ。
Freedom. I feel as though I've always been held down by something. I've never known true freedom.
なら、一緒に見つけに行くってのはどう？約束も責任も使命も全部捨て去ってね。今日誓ったことからも解放された状態で、俺と素敵な自由を満喫しようよ。
Cast everything aside, rid free of all restraints. A vague sense of wrongness pulls at you, but before you can persuade, the dragon plunges into a nosedive, plummeting straight down from the blue skies. Thrill and trepidation, like you've never known before, suffuses your body. The dragon seems determined to drag you into the emerald abyss below the sky.
ほら、一緒に行こう。あんたはもう王国でも大陸でもなく、俺だけのものになるんだ。
Belong to you, but you seem to have unfinished business. Though your eyes see an azure firmament and verdant wilderness, within them you see the faces of your kin and hear the cries of your people. They are still in exile. They are still suffering. No, this isn't right. It shouldn't be like this. You cling tight to the dragon's horns, pushing your windmost hair out of your face, trying to find the end of this free fall. But all you see is a vast, empty void. Abruptly, clarity returns. You realize everything is a grand illusion, that the dragon before you is a fantasy of his creation. This one is just a dreamland, a beautiful lie woven by Marius' intrinsic truth. You can't linger here any longer, or your consciousness will be devoured. With that realization, you hurriedly lean in close to Marius' ear, desperate to rouse him. Marius, wake up. None of this is real. Everything here is fake.
偽物？そんなまさか。俺は確かに感じたんだ。自由に飛び回れる喜びを。
Seeing his vacant, infatuated gaze, and you grip him tightly. Think of your goals. Think of who I am.
いや、これで合ってるよ。こここそが夢にまで見た理想の世界だ。
There's no time, Marius. Wake up now. Mastering the loss of your strength, he uses both his hands and forcefully thrusts them forward. As expected, they collide with the edge of the flaming brazier. The searing heat brings an instantaneous piercing agony. Marius, it's time to wake up. The moment your words fall, a deafening boom resounds. A thunderbolt hurtles down from the heavens. It strikes the brazier and unleashes a torrent of wind and rain. Raindrops spout your skin and Marius, soaking your hair and body. Marius instinctively reaches out to catch the raindrops. He stares at the ripples in his palm with a lost expression, but as the rain washes over him, his eyes gradually become clear. The instant he regains his senses, a luminous white light twines around your joined hands before scattering into stardust. This signifies the pact is sealed. From now on, Marius will serve you as his master. He cannot harm you or betray you unless you willingly sever the pact.
さっきの一体。
We were trapped in your return to truth. We nearly lost ourselves.
俺の実体？
Marius seems to realize he's revealed something. His eyes meet yours, his expression cryptic. The seemingly absurd intrinsic truth gleams in that illusion hints at a desire Marius has yet to voice to you. How could a dragon harbor such thoughts? But the Marius before you is so vividly real. In the pattering rain, neither of you speak. By all rights, you'll need to report this anomaly to the priest to be recorded as a new annotation on pact ceremonies. But you choose silence. You choose not to unravel this mystery. Enough of that. Now that the ceremony is complete, Marius, shouldn't you address me differently?
もちろん。マスター。
Bedroom. Having endured wind, rain, and burns atop the altar, Marius and you are ushered back to your quarters to change clothes and tend to your wounds. Gazing at the newly delivered invitation in your hand, you deduce the minister must be overjoyed to learn of the ceremony's success, and his joy means opportunity. The plan proceeds as anticipated. Only Marius sits on the edge of the bed wearing a long face. Marius, get up. That's my bed.
本当に俺も行かなきゃダメ？人間のパーティーならあんただけ出ればいいと思うんだけど。
The invitation states I must bring my dragon. Of course you can't skip it. It's only a banquet. I promise there won't be any issues. Banquet Hall. Arriving at the hall doors, the escorting servant is replaced by the priest, who leads you inside. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Marius and you pay respect to the minister together. His gaze flits between the two of you. After a few seconds of scrutiny, he nods.
悪くない。特に君ほど才能と勇気に恵まれた者はこの数十年で初めて見る。ところで儀式の途中、異常な現象を目の当たりにしたと聞いたが、詳しく話せるか？
The minister's words carry a probing undertone, as though he's grown suspicious. The chance to form a pact with the dragon is divine blessing, and even more so, a blessing from you, my lord. The heavenly phenomenon during the ceremony, it must have been divine favor brought out by your sincere devotion. Flattery is always pleasing, regardless of the occasion or insincerity. The minister looked at you, poking a brow.
平民の出と聞いていたが、すでに王室の礼儀を学んでいるとはな。今日が初対面でなければ、王都で生まれ育ったのかと思うほどだ。それこそ、彼らのように。
Them naturally referring to the royal family. You're a bit surprised to hear it from the minister's mouth. Composing yourself, you feign ignorance regarding his implication. You flatter me, my lord. I merely took the time to study under the etiquette tutor after learning that I would have the honor of meeting you tonight.
そうか。では礼儀作法と同様、できるだけ早く竜を使った戦闘法が身につくことを祈っていよう。シャクナとの開戦が間近に迫った今、君たち二人が嬉しい誤算を生んでくれることを期待している。
Understood. I will spare no effort to satisfy you, my lord. The minister chuckles again, raising a cup of wine as he turns to address the crowd.
皆の者、今日という素晴らしき日のために。
As the minister raises his glass, the guests echo his toast. Music swells and dancers flood the hall, the banquet's atmosphere growing feverishly lively in an instant. Just as you're about to pull Marius aside, a nobleman holding a cup of wine approaches the minister, blocking your path.
おめでとうございます。これほど有能な契約者であれば、シャクナを打ち破るのも時間の問題でしょうね。ただ、彼女は平民の出です。知識などの面で竜の制御に戸惑うこともあるでしょう。大臣、せっかくの機会ですから契約者に便乗して我々にもいくつかご教授いただけないでしょうか。
The nobleman's face is a rictus of fawning flattery, reminiscent of the clowns in theatre troupes who pander for laughs. Yet this clumsy performance is precisely what pleases those in power. The minister nods in smug satisfaction, his gaze honing in on you and Marius once more.
では、思いつくままに話してみるとしよう。前へ。
I am here, my lord. The minister lifts his chin, his bearing exceedingly arrogant.
竜を手なずけるにはまず、彼らのように手加減していては、その恩恵を無駄にすることになる。
The minister mentions the royal family once again, his tone rife with displeasure and disdain, but his next words sends a chill down your spine.
竜などただの獣に過ぎん。食わせて飲ませておけばよい。どれほど見た目が凶暴でその力が強かろうと、支配下に置かれた瞬間から竜など犬も同然だ。歯向かえば殴り、過ちを犯せば罰する。威厳を見せれば自然に言うことを聞くようになる。君は契約を交わしたのだからなおさら簡単だ。竜に指針があると気づいたら君は知ることになるだろう。契約により得られた力がどれほど有用かを。
The minister's words carry a deeper meaning, as though he's speaking of taming not just dragons, but people. Before you can ponder further, Marius slightly raises his right hand beside you. He glares at the minister as though intending to act. Is he trying to control the minister? You're about to warn him against rash moves when the man in power notices something is amiss.
まったく、私がお前の企みに気づかぬとでも思ったか。その手を下ろせ。ここはお前が好き勝手できるような場ではない。
The moment his words fall, the banquet hall plunges into deathly silence. The guards at the door immediately rush over.
これでもまだ私に手を出すか？竜とて所詮は獣。キリスというものを知ろうとしない。ついさっきも言ったはずだぞ。過ちを犯せば罰するとな。
Before the minister can issue the order for punishment, you step forward and kneel. My lord, today should be a joyous occasion celebrating the ceremony's success. There's no need to waste your energy on a mere dragon. I don't believe he meant to offend you. He simply felt your unrivaled majesty and couldn't help but tremble in fear.
そやつの代わりに許しを請うと？
Not at all. I merely sing your praises from the bottom of my heart, my lord. Without even lifting a finger, you bring a mighty dragon to heal. The minister's expression softens slightly, but he remains silent. You take a few steps forward and bow your head, appearing even more devout. However, if you truly wish to mete out punishment, it mustn't sour your mood. Though I've only just become an oath bearer and entered the capital Chulan, I'm willing to shoulder this burden for you.
それで私にその許可を出せと？
As you said, the power bestowed by the pike is quite useful. So, I'm very eager to test it out. The minister stares at you in silence for a long while before finally nodding.
やはり度胸があるな。それに物覚えもよく、野心もある。いいだろう。あまりこのホールを荒らさぬようにな。
Of course, I wouldn't dream of offending your eyes in this place. Receiving the minister's permission, you flash Marius a meaningful look and swiftly escort him away. One side of the capital palace. Leaving the banquet, you and Marius avoid the guards and servants arriving at a quiet, secluded corner beside the great hall. Moonlight spills through the arched windows onto the floor, the silvery glow dividing the ground into two realms. You bath in the moon's radiance while Marius lurks in the shadows. There's no one here. That was far too close. Standing in the gloom, Marius looks at you, confusion in his eye.
どうして俺を助けたんだ？あんなことをする必要なんてなかったのに。あいつはただみんなの前で俺に急を据えればよかったんだ。絶対的な威厳を見せつけるためにな。なのに、あんな風に俺をかばって、あんたの立場が悪くなってたらどうするつもりだったんだ。
Indeed, letting the situation unfold wouldn't have impacted your plans. The one who wished to punish him was the minister. He wouldn't have held it against you. However, some impulses, when traced to their roots, lack rational and sensible justification. As your master, of course I have to take responsibility for you. Besides, we're a kind of alliance now. How could I watch you get hurt and do nothing? But seriously, if something like that happens again, you can't be so impulsive. Next time, we might not be so lucky. A flicker of surprise passes through Marius' eyes. In the shadows, he slightly shifts his stance, his silhouette growing distinct. After a long moment, he speaks.
ありがとう。
For a moment, you're at a loss for how to respond. Fortunately, Marius continues after a brief pause.
今回だけじゃなく、儀式の時も、俺の秘密を守ろうとしてくれたんだよね。
Marius' words refer to the return to truth he manifested during the ceremony. Only now do you realize your actions have repeatedly defied his expectations of humans. Maybe it's because you're unique. You're nothing like the dragons I know.
そうかな。あんたの知ってる竜ってどんな感じなの？
That'd be... Looking into Marius' eyes, you find yourself unable to finish the sentence. You've never considered this question. You simply thought it had always been this way, dictated by nature.
そんなに難しく考えなくていいよ。俺だってある程度分かってるつもりだしね。俺たち竜は猫や犬と同様、従順で人にはない力を持ってる。強い上に聞き分けがいい。まさに完璧な道具だ。でも、それが俺たちの本当の姿なのかどうか、考えたことはある？
Marius' riddles are always cryptic. You try to see through the tricks in the glass bottle, but he merely smiles.
話がそれたね。今は小難しい話をするような空気じゃないし、忘れていいよ。
Huh? Marius doesn't elaborate. He takes a few steps forward. Now Marius stands alongside you in the moonlight. He gazes at the boundless night sky, then turns to you.
あんたは信じてもいいんだよね。何があっても揺るがず、大臣のようにはならないって。
You furrow your brow slightly, hesitating. If he knew everything, would he still ask such a question?
答えたくないならそれでもいいよ。どのみち俺に選択の余地はないし、これまでと同様、ただ信じるしかないからね。
Marius' expression grows a bit fallen. Don't worry, I've always been one to keep my promises. I won't let you down. You avert your gaze from Marius, turning to look at the moon. Yet, with your reply, it seems your feet and his begin to diverge and twist from this very moment. By the way, tell me about your wish. You haven't shared it with me yet.
単純な願いだよ。向こうであんたも見たでしょ。
Huh?
自由だ。
His words rekindle your memory, the rain and the fire at the pipe ceremony, the lush greenery and plummeting blue skies in the illusion, forming an hourglass flip upside down. Accompanied by the rustle of falling leaves outside the arched window, the tangible forest in the tranquil night transformed into an abstract wish. Freedom. So what you want me to do is to break the pipe once I accomplish my goals. Freeing you from anyone's control.
そうだよ。
But why? In my time at the capital, I've never heard of a dragon wanting this. Marius doesn't reply. He merely takes out a necklace from the inner pocket of his shirt. Dangling from the chain is a fang. What is that?
竜の骨で作ったんだ。身につけておくにはこの大きさにするしかなくてさ。
Though you don't grasp the connection between freedom and the fang, Marius' expression makes it clear. These fangs belong to his skin. The candlelight on the wall flickers. Undoubtedly, sharing such things in its warmth breeds a certain intimacy. It's a precious keepsake.
宝物であり、過去の証でもある。
Your past? Your heart twings slightly. Reason wants you not to pry, but you blurt out the question anyway.
そんなに綺麗な思い出じゃないし、話すと長くなるからまた今度ね。それより、いい加減マスターのことを聞かせてくれない？まだほとんど教えてもらってないんだけど。
The mood begins to mellow, the moonlight still bright. Perhaps Marius' candor about his wish and sharing of his keepsake have slightly moved you. Without meaning to, you start recounting the royal family's fate after the Great War and your experiences on the journey here. The story is long, so long that even you're surprised by how much you've been through. Marius listened attentively, not missing a single detail.
本当にウェルライトに行ってたの？
Of course, I stayed there for half a stellar month. The most interesting thing was watching the town full street with foreigners at the border. Alright, to the north there's a mountain spring called Lake Ostra. They say it was left behind by elves in ancient times. Apparently, the elf song made the stars fall, and they formed a crater when they struck the ground. Over time, it became a lake.
へえ、面白い話だね。俺もいつか見てみたいな。
You will, Marius. As soon as I achieve my goals, I'll break the pipe for you. Then you can go wherever you please. But before that, we need to find the medal. Blissful moments are always fleeting. After the carefree chat, you're drawn back to the inescapable reality.
だね。一体どこで保管してるんだか。
Although the medal symbolized the power to rule Kalos, the story goes that it was bestowed by the royal family before ending up in the minister's hand. If you were the minister, how would you feel every time you saw the royal medal?
なくてはならないものだけど、同時に目障りでもある。勲章は安全かつ、自分の視界に入らない場所に置いてあるかも。
That's what I'm thinking too.
けど、この城にはそういった場所がいくらでもありそうだね。
Yeah, we can't search blindly or we'll be discovered in no time. We can only look for clues first. Library. With the minister's approval, you're able to stay in the capital as an oath bearer and learn techniques related to dragon combat. Over the next few days, whenever you have a break from your faint training, you often wander the capital with Marius, seeing if you can gather any information. One day at noon, as usual, you're perusing ancient texts in the library. From beyond a row of shelves, a conversation at moderate volume drifts to your ears.
レミ、今日もやらかしてくれたわね。前にも言ったのに、どうして宝物庫の方へ行くの？
Treasury, isn't that where the royal family used to store all sort of rare treasures?
アリサさん、これは事故なんです。最近あまりにも忙しかったので、どこか静かな場所で休みたくて。あそこには決して近づくなと大臣から言われてるでしょうが。
Huh?
知らなかったんです。荒れ放題だったので、てっきり誰も管理していないのかと。なんて言ったらいいか。あそこは管理をしてないわけじゃなくて、大臣があえてそうしてるのよ。あなたも宝物庫があの人たちの場所だって早く覚えておくことね。でも誰も教えてくれませんでしたよ。あそこが仙王の。ほら、もう泣かない。次からは気をつけるようにね。
After they leave, Marius closes his book and leans in close.
もしかして勲章はそこに？
Locking the medal away with the treasures owned by the royals, it would indeed be safe and out of sight there. It's possible. I remember the treasury has a hidden side door. There's a path leading there. Treasury. You taught Marius along as you quietly slip out the library's back door. After carefully avoiding servants and guards, you successfully sneak inside. The treasury is unlit, the air is thick with the musty odor of mold. It seems to have become a den for creatures fond of the damp and dark. The cold, precious objects emanate an aura of neglect, somewhat awe-inspiring in the endless gloom. It's truly just as Rainy described. Seems completely unattended.
へえ、広くて物が多いな。
You pull on Mary's sleeve and stop his marveling. There's no time for you to admire things right now. Let's quickly see if there's anything suspicious. Mary's nods. You split up to search for any odd traces there could be. Passing a row of cabinets housing treasures from the rulers of various fiefs, something catches your eye. A fragment of Lake Astra? You open the cabinet door, running your fingers over the faintly glowing object before you. A fragment of Lake Astra, a shard of starlight left behind when the stars fell to earth. Inexplicably, you recall Mary's words and his expression.
へえ、面白い話だね。俺もいつか見てみたいな。
This originally belonged to the royal family anyway. It should be fine if I take it now. Swiftly, you remove the fragment and carefully tuck it into your pocket. You intend to give it away as a gift, but haven't decided how to do it.
見て、変なものがある。
Just as you close the cabinet, Marius' voice rings out from the not far away. You jog over to find Marius crouched down, staring at a pattern on the floor.
この模様と勲章って何か関係あったりする？
Following his gaze, you lower your head for a closer look. No, it's just a surveillance magic sigil. Once triggered, it will send an alert outside. Before you can finish, a dark shadow darts out from a nearby urn, charging straight for the center of the sigil. Oh no! In the nick of time, Mara's keen eyes and quick hands drift it to the other side, narrowly skirting to the edge of the sigil.
ただのネズミだったよ。
Phew, it's a good thing you're here. Otherwise, we'd be in a hot water. You heave a long sigh, thinking you can relax now, but just then, the sound of guards ring out from outside the treasury.
だから隊長、ここを調べても何も出てきませんって。今日は問題もなかったですしたとえ警報が鳴ったとしても、いつも見つかるのはネズミとかクモとかの常連ばかりじゃないですか。お前に何がわかるんだ。上の命令にはおとなしく従っておけ。分かったらとっとと担当者にここを開けさせろ。はいはい、わかりましたよ。
Oh no, I didn't expect this sudden inspection.
どうする？
Let's get out of here first. You tug Marius along, hastily retracing your steps, trying to exit through the side door you entered from, but to your dismay, it's inexplicably locked. Blast it, we need to find somewhere to hide. You and Marius change directions again, searching for a secluded spot to conceal yourself in the vast space. The sound of the lock being opened is clearly audible. The treasury doors will be thrown open any second now.
早く！
Marius suddenly grabs your hand. You turn to see him opening the door of a tall, narrow cabinet, gesturing for you to hide inside with him. However, the cabinet is extremely slim, barely enough for one person. If both you and Marius are to hide within, you'll have no choice but to press tightly against each other. Getting past their search is what matters now, no time to fret over anything else. Taking a deep breath, you follow Marius into the cabinet. You stay here, I'll find another spot.
無理だよ、もう間に合わない。
With a forceful tug, Marius pulls you in and shuts the cabinet door. Inside the cabinet, you and Marius are left face to face, bodies flushed against each other, with hardly any room to move. You try to shift position to make the intimacy of your cheek press against his a bit less suggestive.
じっとしてて。俺も気持ちはわかるけど、今は我慢しないと。
Hearing the strain in Marius' voice, you abandon the possibility of changing your position. Through your skin and eardrums, you feel his body heat and heartbeat. If being close to nearly kissing you during the ceremony was Marius' unconscious act, then this is no doubt a true, authentic contact.
何かおかしい。いつもと同じじゃないですか。お前は本当に口数が多いな。おい、お前たち、あの辺りを確認してこい。今日は手を抜くなよ。
Unable to see beyond the cabinet door, you can only gauge from the voices outside that they've entered the treasury and are searching the place. In the darkness, Mary's voice drifts down from above you, very soft and low.
大丈夫だ。俺たちは見つからない。
The footsteps draw closer. You instinctively hold your breath, not daring to make a sound, letting your heartbeat melt with Marius. Will they open the cabinet? If you're caught, what excuse can you use to escape?
怖がらなくても大丈夫。万が一のことがあれば、全部俺のせいにすればいい。
As he whispered words fall, the footsteps seems to stop right outside the cabinet. Your heart leaps into your throat. Without thinking, you grip Marius' forearm tight. Drip, drip. The sound of water drops from somewhere, counting down this moment.
なんだ、ただのネズミか。いつの間にか東の窓が破られてたんだな。隊長、だから言ったじゃないですか。どうせ雲かネズミだって。隊長、特に発見がなければ、直ちに宝物庫から出るようにと上からの指示がありました。わかった。撤収だ。
As the footsteps recede, you finally let out the breath you've been holding. Marius also noticeably relaxed.
ネズミに命を救われるとはね。
Yeah, I'll never complain about them again. The sudden realization makes you unconsciously lean back, wanting to rest against the cabinet wall to alleviate the tension from moments ago. But what your back meets is not the solid surface you expected. Some palace. After a dizzying whirl, Marius and you tumble heavily to the ground.
大丈夫か？
I'm fine, don't worry. Climbing to your feet with the winds, you take in your surrounding. You only just realize the cabinet Marius opened was actually a one-way teleportation portal. It connects the treasury to this place.
ここはどこだ？
I don't know either. The layout here is nearly identical to the Great Hall in the capital. The only difference is the view beyond the arched windows, indicating it's built at the capital's highest point. Undoubtedly, this is a place the minister secretly constructed over the years. Wait, is that? Glancing up at the Great Hall, you spot a raised platform in the center. Something hovers in mid-air, glowing with a soft light inside a transparent orb. You hurry forward as your body is drawn to it of its own accord. The metal object shaped like a weaving shuttle amidst a faint golden glow. The iris engravings on its surface remains as exquisite as ever. It's hollow in the center, with a bowl made of dragon bone rolling within the royal medal. You quickly survey the surroundings as you fear this might be a trap. The spacious great hall before you is devoid of excess furnishings. Nothing seems amiss. Looks safe enough. There shouldn't be any issue. Tentatively, you reach out your hand. It passes through the transparent barrier with ease, triggering no other anomalies. Did we just find it? Gazing at the metal nearly within your grasp, an emotion you dare not believe wells up in your heart. In your original plan, the next step after finding it was awaken it, gain the power to command the people's oath and the obedience of all dragons. And the price to awaken the medal is to use your blood as a base and offer up the most precious things belonging to the dragonborn back with you. This is a secret art known only to royalty, the deepest secret you never shared with Marius from start to finish. Only then can I directly oppose the minister and reclaim the throne as swiftly as possible. But should I really do this? Marius, the pact can still be broken, but this sacrifice would leave no room to turn back. He will be forever shackled, never again free to spread his wings wherever he wants.
それが例の勲章？やったね。怪我の巧妙ってやつかな。
As you hesitate, Mary's voice drifts out from below, brimming with genuine joy. You stand high above, looking down at him. A desolate sorrow suddenly ripples through your heart.
黙り込んでどうしたの？
You open your mouth, wanting to say something, but you're abruptly cut off.
実に残念だ。つい先ほどまで願っていたんだがな。君が王族ではないと。だがまあよい。君にはまだ使い道がある。さあ、愉快なショーを見せてもらおうか。
The minister suddenly appears at the hall's entrance, his face a mask of icy mirth.
どうしてここに？
感謝してほしいものだ。私が手助けしていなければ、君たちはここへたどり着けなかったのだからな。
何を言ってるんだ？
愚かだな。まさか宝物庫へたどり着けたのがただの幸運だとでも？君たちの結末は花から決まっていたのだ。何があろうとここへたどり着くと。
A chill runs down your spine. This minister is far more ruthless and paranoid than you imagine. When did his suspicions begin? Was it the celestial phenomenon at the pact ceremony? Your performance at the banquet? The moment he laid eyes on you? Yet, regardless, his web was spun from the very beginning, all for the predation at this instant. If you suspected me all along, why not just kill me?
君も言っていただろう。疑念と確信は違うと。それに私は才を惜しむ人間でね。苦労して君たちをここへおびき寄せたのは、間違いなく処理をしたという安心感を得るためだ。
You...
おっと、無駄話が過ぎたな。君らのショーのために時間を残しておかなければ。
With a sinister chuckle, the minister turns to leave. As the door shut, the thunderous crash of a portcullis echoes. The place closest to the sky has now become a cage. A pained groan rises from below. You find Marius clutching his head, his expression one of barely suppressed agony, abandoning all else to race down the steps. What's wrong, Marius?
わからない。あいつがいなくなった途端、痛みが。
You place your hand on his forehead, trying to soothe him. Surveying your surroundings, you notice a fine powder floating in the air. The powder settles on the ground, silently igniting a hidden sigil on the marble surface. There's no doubt the minister wants to turn this place into not just a cage, but a tomb. But why don't I feel anything?
マスター、苦しい。
By now, Marius' suffering has intensified. He begins to stretch about restlessly, his skin periodically mottling with blue-violet scales. He is clearly descended into a mental breakdown. Marius, at least you still have one final bit of value. You can give me a good show. The rest of our time should be devoted to your performance. In a flash, your breath stops. You grasp the meaning behind the minister's words. Due to the pack's existence, all the pain that should be yours is borne by Marius. Once his mind fully crumbles, he'll be driven to utter madness until he slays you with his own hands. No, you can't. Marius' condition rapidly deteriorates. A sheen of sweat coats his brow. His body heat scorching to the touch. In his ruse, he grips your hand tight, muttering delirious nonsense.
やった。やめろ。殺せ。頼むから。もう殺してくれ。
No, there must be a way to save Meredith. Think! You dig your nails into your forearm, forcing yourself to stay calm. Your mind races, rapidly sifting through all the information you've learned about dragon taming. Not treating wounds, not bone warping, something related to mental breakdowns. In a burst of inspiration, an ancient and perilous spell springs to your mind. You smash a mirror into the great hall using the shards of a makeshift blade. Without hesitation, you open your left palm, holding your hand over Marius' lips. This spell uses fresh blood as a medium to link a human's will to dragon's mental realm. If you can rouse the dragons within, you can free it from the chaos. In your studies, it seems to originate from the dawn of human dragon packs, but no one has ever attempted it, as no humans would gamble with their own lives. You watch your blood drip into Marius' mouth, staining his pale lips crimson. Gritting your teeth against the pain, you press your right hand to his forehead and begin to chant the spell's incantation. Witnessed by the divine, attested by sun and moon, as human I made this plea for a dragon. With fresh blood, with utmost sincerity, I seek the entry of the sacred will into my flesh to address the boundless suffering. Unknown place. Opening your eyes again, you find yourself in a vast expanse of wilderness. Gazing out, the land is an endless carpet of lush grass and vibrant flowers. In the distance, sunlight pours through drifting clouds, painting a scene too beautiful to belong to this continent. This is Marius' mental realm. The question slips out unbidden, but the only reply is the cry of a colossal beast. A massive shadow sweeps over your head, whipping up the surrounding wind. You can't help but crane your neck. Countless giant dragons soar through the azure sky as though they were born to live for the heavens alone. They circle and wheel, then spread their wings and surge forth, their thunderous roars echoing across the distant horizon. I've never seen so many dragons. Words fail to capture the grandeur before your eyes or the impact on your heart. You can only stand there dumbfounded. Unknown place. But before you can ponder further, the scene flips again, settling on the ruins of an ancient human civilization. What is this? In the center of the ruins, a unique dragon lies curled up, gold and violet intertwined across his skin, his eyes a cerulean blue. The nobility he exudes rivals that of human monarch. People then enter the ruins. They gently stroke the dragon's spine and wings. The dragon lowers his head slightly in response. The bond between human and dragon appears equal and amicable. It seems this isn't just Mary's memory. Unknown place. Before you can discern what becomes of the dragon and humans, the scene changes in a flash. In this time, it's drenched in crimson red. The sky above seems to melt with the earth. A suffocating yellow tinge blankets all that can be seen. The air reeks of blood and rot, a stench that assaults the senses. And the source of this miasma is none other than the corpses of countless dragons and the blood flowing unchecked on the ground. Humans wield sorcery and ever-advancing weaponry to hunt dragonkin. Those who resist die, while the obedient live, the so-called way of the strong. Not far off, amidst billowing smoke, a warrior raises a silver sword high, poised to plunge it into a dragon's eye. The silver blade descends, the dragon howls. It collapses heavily to the ground, blood gushing from its slit pupil eye. Its eye stares straight at you, never to close again. Your legs give out beneath you as you sink to your knees on this blood-soaked soil. For a moment, you can't discern the boundary between illusion and reality. You just want to flee. You want to flee the sky of scarlet and the anguish surging forth. No, it can't be what I think it is. But the instant you turn, the scene before you inverts once more. You behold a sight you will never forget in this lifetime. Flames leap and dance, devouring everything around. Blood and mud mix together, dyeing the earth an endless murky hue. Dragon corpses spar high, their long backs bristling with silver swords, encircling by the bodies of his kin. Marius kneels at the center. The blood of his skin stains his robes. He lifts his head helplessly, his expression one of utter desolation.
どうしてこんなことに。俺たちが何をしたって言うんだ。ただ自由に生きたいと望んだだけだろ。
Bitter tears stream from Mary's eyes, filled with grief yet silent. But these scant tears cannot quench the flames of greed already ignites. The shifts between these three visions form the backdrop of all Dragonkin memory, the cruelest of truths. Strip away the veneer of human words, and only bloody brutality remains, the very thing that birthed the dragonborn in the royal metal. Why did it have to be this way? No matter how much you don't want to believe it, everything has been laid bare before your eyes, immutable for all eternity. At someone's unknown command, a rain of swords flies towards a violet-hued dragon. The beast let out an anguished wail and topples beside Marius.
やめろ！もうやめてくれ！
Who was it? Who is that person gazing down at him from on high? You turn to look, but find only empty space behind you. There's no one there but yourself. The wind whips the banner symbolizing humanity. In this moment, you are not one of them, but yet you are one of them.
なんであの時俺だけを生かしたんだ。
No. But no one can hear Mary's pleas, nor does anyone care to listen. Through his tear-filled eyes, you glimpse a tiny figure, a very small, a very young dragon. Weeping, it kneels in the same spot as Marius. It gently paws at a nearby dragon corpse, then releases a heart-rending wail of sorrow. Mirrored reflections, overlapping shapes of young dragons and human forms. At last, you uncover the truth of this place and the past Marius spoke of. An asphyxiating grief fills your heart in an instant, stealing your breath away. Young and innocent, he knew only to cry. By the time he grew and grasped the truth, the ability to resist and destroy himself had long been stripped away. He became a merely vessel of power. Marius, wake up! You can't stay trapped here. You'll never be able to escape. There are still so many possibilities ahead of you. You can regain your freedom. I'm certain of it.
俺たちがどんな間違いを犯したって言うんだよ。竜に生まれたことが悪だっていうのか。
No, you and your kind did nothing wrong. Misplaced conversations as such are ones that divinities won't hear. If redemption truly exists, then wouldn't it be too late now? Flames burst forth, the blood moon begins to devour the earth. A piercing pain and sudden dizziness assail you. Gazing at your left palm, you realize you've lingered here too long, and so has Marius. So you try to step forward, treading across the burning earth, across the ashes strewn with shards and bloods, yearning to reach his side. Finding yourself in Mary's pulse, you finally cross the mound of corpses, and during the searing heat of the blaze, you kneel before him in the same pose. You clasp his hand, but he trembles ceaselessly, weeping. Come with me, Marius. Don't stay here any longer.
あんたは行くってどこに？
I'll take you to the place you most long to be.
俺が一番行きたい場所。それ信じてもいいの？
Of course, we made a promise. Your consciousness begins to blur. Have your tears and blood run dry? You grip Mary's hand tightly, refusing to let go, fearing that if you do, he'll never return. But having a glimpse of the truth in this trance, what emotion should you bear once awakened? Guilt? Or will you shield your eyes and feign ignorance? Some Palace. When you wake up, you find yourself leaning against a pillar. Mary seems to be bandaging your wounds beside you. The dusky light filtering through the window is attached to the passage of time. You recovered, Marius. Thank goodness.
起きたのか？また、今は喋らずに体を休ませた方がいい。ついさっきまで大量に血を流してたんだ。
Blood.
ああ、目覚めたらあんたの手が血で染まってて。俺、もう二度と会えないかと。意識が戻ってよかった。じゃないと俺。
Marius trails off, not finishing his sentence. He presses his lips together, his gaze dimming.
ごめん。俺を助けようとしたせいで、あんたがこんな。あんたは、こんなことしなくてよかったってのに。
No. Those fragmented memories surfaced at the sound of his voice, reassembling into a complete story. In this moment, you don't know how to face Marius, much less his remorse toward you. You bore everything for me. Isn't it only natural that I save you? You try to keep your tune light, but your heart sinks inexorably. It's fine now. You don't need to feel guilty. Really, I'm okay. Mastering your strength despite your body's weakness, you force a smile. Only after your repeated assurance does a hint of realization appear on Marius' face. He holds up your bandaged left hand before your eyes, looking somewhat proud.
これ、うまく負けてると思う。あの場ではできることが限られてたから、シャツを包帯代わりにするしかなくてさ。でも安心して、一番綺麗なとこを使ったから。
Inexplicably, you want to cry.
なんで黙ってるのさ。もしかしてどこか痛む？やっぱりちゃんと巻き直した方が。
You shake your head. The Marius before you overlaps with the image of that young dragon. That blood-soaked visions and his past twist and invert in your mind once more. No, I shouldn't have done this.
勲章のことなら大丈夫だよ。俺がすぐに取ってきてあげるから。
The medal, the dragon bomb backpack, the bird of royal strip into his mouth. You suddenly realize what's about to unfold. But Marius has already risen and head straight for the great hall above. Wait, Marius, don't move.
お、何？
Right now, Marius' hand hovers very close to the medal, barely an inch away. I've changed my mind. Don't touch it.
触らないでって。急にどうして？
Yes, I don't want to use you for that power anymore. I'm sorry. You and I are no different. Really, I have no right to decide if you should be sacrificed for my sake. Marius merely smiles, a tinge of bitterness in the curve of his lips. He remains atop the platform still. Your heart grows increasingly anxious. Listen to me. Come back down. We can find another way. Marius stands high above at the platform, gazing down at you. Your position has reversed. Yet, hearing your words, Marius shows no surprise, nor does he descend the step. Instead, his expression softens. His eyes glisten, wet and gentle, like a sea that could tenderly embrace anything.
その言葉が聞けて嬉しいよ。今ので俺の直感と選択が間違ってなかったことが証明された。少なくとも今この瞬間だけは、あんたは隠し事をせずに全てを打ち明けてくれた。
You can hardly believe it, but Mary's behavior confirms everything. You knew what I planned to do before? How is that possible? I never brought a word to you.
確かに俺は何も聞いてない。けど一つ忘れてない？竜族には共通の原初の記憶がある。あんたが勲章を探していると知った時から、この可能性については考えてたんだよ。
Your ultimate goal is also your initial goal, to offer up his most precious possession in exchange for the people's oath and the power to subjugate all dragons. Then why did you still go up the platform? Faced with your question, Marius tilts his head back slightly, as though wondering.
どこから話せばいいかな。まず、俺は最初、あんたとの取引に何も期待していなかった。選択の余地がなく、退路もなかったから、目の前にある仮初めの希望にすがるしかなかったんだ。でも少しずつ、あんたが他の奴らとは違うって分かって、信じてみようって思った。
Marius pauses, then continues, his first shock with emotion.
そしたら今度、あんたは命がけで、俺の目を覚まさせてくれた。どう考えても、そんな義理なんてないし、俺が完全にダメになる前に逃げたり、殺すことだってできたのに。
How could I possibly abandon you?
そういうとこだよ。だからあんたは特別で、俺たちにとって貴重な存在なんだ。竜族に起きたことが変わらなくとも、俺だけは信じたい。あんたに任せることで、今がより良くなるんじゃないかって。もしどっちもダメなら、マシな方を選べ。そう教えてくれたのは、あんただ。それに、これ以上の方法はない。でしょ？実際国民だってあんたを待ち続けてたわけだし。
With Marius' initiative, you have no reason to refuse. Yet a reluctance rises in your heart, unrelated to anything else. It stems solely from the fact that he is Marius. Wait, Marius, if the earliest memories of Dragonkin are shared, then is there also a chance the secret art can be undone? Human selfishness regarding power may cause them to deliberately erase the solution over time, but perhaps dragons might still remember. Confronted with your wild ideas, Marius falls silent. He simply reaches out to touch the metal. Sunlight piercing the heavens and falls upon him. The moment his fingertips make contact, the metal's core exploded with brilliant radiance. Time and space freeze in this instant. Marius' body is lifted into the air by an invisible force. The blood of royalty, your blood, that dripped into his mouth earlier becomes the key to unlocking the secret art. A flowing light envelops Marius. He clutches his chest, his expression one of agony, as though his heart is being carved out. The next second, the fang-shaped dragon-bone necklace flies up from Marius' pocket, slowly rising. Marius watches the dragon bone ascend past his cheek, seemingly to sense what will occur, but he merely endures the pain and turns his face to the side, trying his hardest to smile.
泣かないで。これは俺が選んだことで、あんたが強要したわけじゃない。
Marius. Bang! With a soft sound, the dragon bone dissolved into powder, scattering on the wind, never to be found again. That luminous white that represents your pack winds around Marius and your hands once more. This time, it turns crimson before dispersing into motes of starlight. A blinding white light envelops all of the callous continent. The frozen time and space resumes flowing an instant later. The fire basket symbolizing the royal family atop every town blaze to life. Dragons imprisoned in cells are beckoned by the call as they shatter their bonds and restraints and fly toward this place.
王族が帰ってきたのか？
ええ、竜が飛んできたのを見たわ。彼らが助けてくれたのよ。
Even atop the highest tower, the astonishment, jubilation, cheers of the callous continent's people and the roars of the dragons surge through the grand arched windows into your ears like a tidal wave. Marius, compelled by the secret art summoned, transformed into his most primal draconic shape, prostrating himself at your feet. Everything begins anew. Everything will soon end. Capital Gardens. Fire represents hope and dragons represent the power of justice. Spurred by both, the commoners rise up in revolt and flood the capital. When you meet the minister again, he is admiring flowers in the capital's garden. Seeing you appear, he idly plucks a white blossom, playing with it in his hands.
まさか君たちがここまで狡猾だったとは。秘宝の存在さえ知っていれば付け入る隙など与えなかったのだがな。だが私は屈しない。
The minister before you remains immersed in his own beautiful dream. Perhaps the sensation of wielding power is too sweet, causing him to long forget who he is and his proper duties. No. You lost to your own ambition and desire. Even without the secret art, even if the royals never returned, one day you would have been overthrown by the people all the same. Beyond the garden walls, you see every lively person. No one is one destined to be used or sacrificed. A superior position without knowing oneself will only lead to losing everything.
この地位に身を置けば誰もが同じことになる。君も例外ではない。殺すならさっさと殺せ。 積もる話をしに来たわけではないのだろ
The minister appears exceptionally calm, as though he's eager to die here. No, you should live. Only by living can you atone for your sins. With the royal family's return and the minister's downfall, the callous continent plunged into brief chaos. You expend no small effort and time consolidating power to push the minister's remaining forces, enabling everything to function anew and restoring the former peace. The lost royals have finally come home. Supported by their people, they ascend the throne. This is a conclusion that all have hoped for. Capital Palace. On the day of the succession ceremony, the hall is packed. The chatter of the crowd is ceaseless until the officer of rites repeatedly shakes his ceremonial bell, quieting them at last. You stand behind a curtain to one side of the great hall, awaiting the start of the ceremony. Are you sure you don't want to take the stage with me? You can't help but glance at Marius on your left.
あそこはあんたの場所だから俺は遠慮しとくよ。それより本当に覚悟は決まったの？
Yes, although I can't completely sever the bond between humans and dragons right now, nor find a way to break the pacts, I believe that no matter how much time it takes, someday I will find the solution. And until that day comes, I must make everyone realize that equality truly exists.
なら思うようにやればいいと思うよ。俺はいつまでもあんたを待ってるから。
The curtain slowly rises, accompanied by the officer of rites speech. All eyes fall upon you.
神が信徒を見捨てぬように、王族もまた民を見捨ててはいなかった。皆様、どうか温かな拍手を。殿下のご帰還です。
Amidst the crowd's cheer and applause, you ascend the platform step by step. The officer of rites presents you with a scepter and crown according to tradition. Under his guidance, you make your vows to the people. Witnessed by the divine, blessed by the stars, I, Shirara, am born of Kalas. I pledge my life, my utmost sincerity, to be loyal to this land and my people. With the oath sworn, you truly become the new monarch. You turn to face the crowd below. They kneel one by one, cheering and saluting you. The slightly dusky sunlight scatters before your eyes, glittering like jewels. Among the sea of faces, Marius alone is absent, though you know if you're willing to look back, you'd see where he is. Let's begin. You take a deep breath and nod to the officer of rites. The brazier symbolizing the pact is brought to the top of the great hall, ignited with roaring flames just like that day. On this journey, I've met many people and experienced many things. I've pondered how we should move forward. Should we continue to seize the power of another race and worship the royalty, or should we rely on the divinities? Now, I finally have the answer. Only when we cease to condescend or grovel can we walk the path that belongs to us. So, let's start by rewriting the twisted tale of humans and dragons. From now on, all Incalas have the equal right to choose. In the name of the new monarch, I vow to no longer abuse the power of dragons, nor look down on any other race. We will no longer be disturbed by the differences in class. We all are children of Kalas, equal individuals among the masses. You cast the royal medal into the flames. As the blaze consumes it, all pacts, bonds, and servitudes in the eye of the world turn to ash in this moment. As though sensing your actions, it seems the roars of dragons pierce the city walls, reaching the horizon. Your actions elicit an uproar in the great hall. Everyone wears expressions of disbelief, letting out cries of utter incredulity. Yet under their gazes, you stand ramrod straight, gazing into the distance with unwavering resolve. Capital Gardens. The grand ceremony concludes. You and Marius retreat to gardens, where he idly fiddles with a flower bud.
盛大な儀式だったね。それにしても、王族が即位式で勲章を焼くなんて、誰も想像してなかったんじゃない？
There's nothing wrong with overturning tradition. Not all traditions should be followed, as they have a long road ahead.
確かに。あんたにとってこれは、ただの始まりに過ぎない。
For you as well. Marius halts beside a beautiful blooming rose. He reaches out as though to touch it, but stops short.
秘宝の解き方が見つかるまで、あとどれだけかかるんだろうね。
I have a feeling it won't be too long. When that time comes, you and your kind will gain true freedom.
正直、今とあんまり変わらないんじゃないかな。だって、あんたは一切あの力を使ってないし、今後も使うつもりはないんでしょ？
Right, but I know that only by severing all bonds can the relationship between humans and dragons start over. Faced with your persistence and certainty, Marius merely smiles. By the way, what are your plans after leaving the capital?
とりあえずあちこち見て回りたいかな。もうずっと外の世界に出てないから、どんな風に変わったのか見てこないとね。
You never considered staying? You can't help but lift your gaze to the sky, feeling a vast distance between you and between Marius and yourself. Marius lowers his head and lets the wind tousle his hair.
考えたことはあるよ。でも、傷跡と同じで、たとえ癒しても永遠に消えないものはある。
You've always known the relationship between Marius and you isn't as simple as ordinary love or hate. Suddenly, you recall that verdant illusion. He told you something. You don't need to belong to the capital. Belong here and to me alone. But it's a pity that by the time you respond, it's already too late. I understand. Since we've reached a shared understanding of the past, let's bid farewell properly today. I respect your choice, Marius. Besides that, I have one last gift for you.
選別？
You retrieve the fragment from your pocket and place it in his hand. It's a fragment of Lake Astra. If you ever visit Wainwright, you can go take a look. After a moment of free surprise, Marius accepts the fragment. He then presses a light kiss to the back of your hand.
あんたがいなかったら、俺はここまで来れなかったと思う。今までありがとう。それじゃあね。
A gust of wind spontaneously whirls through the gardens. You watch as Marius transforms into a giant violet dragon soaring into the sky. After circling once, he flies resolutely toward the distant horizon. You gaze silently in the direction of his departure for a long, long while until the sun sinks below the horizon and night swallows the sky. Tea stall in the town. Time flows on, long and unhurried. No one knows how much has passed. It is known only that the throne has changed hands for generations within the city, no longer held by the original royal line. Yet tales of the royals continue to spread. Among the myriad mysterious legends, the story of Shirara and the dragon is the people's favorite. Even this little roadside tea stall is no exception.
はあ？それにしてもおかしな話だね。
あの竜の名前だけが歴史書に載っていないなんて。ねえあんた、あの彼女と竜は本当はどんな関係だったと思う？
An old lady with a travel bag on her back takes a sip of tea and starts on the topic. Following her question, the people gathered around the tea stall chatter away. Some say she purely used the dragon. Others claim the dragon bewitched the royals from the start, and one person says there was love between them. A child beside the tea stall props her chin in her hands, gazing at the young man who speaks with certainty of love between humans and dragon. She asks innocently,
ねえ、でもママが言ってたよ。好きな相手を騙すような真似は絶対にできないって。
子供にはまだわからないよ。大人の愛ってのは複雑なんだ。
The child still doesn't comprehend, somewhat disbelieving of his words.
お兄ちゃんは僕よりちょっと大きいだけでしょ。なんでそんなことわかるの？
それを説明するにはまず先祖に代々伝わる物語から披露しなきゃならないな。
As the young man describes the story in vivid detail, the people at the tea stall all listen with rapt fascination, as though he speaks of events that truly transpired. Only a pair of travelers in the corner shake their heads. They pay for their tea and depart. As they depart from the tea stall, they tuck their hoods up for each other, then vanish together into the sea of people. The pale golden sunlight falls upon the copper coins they left behind, glittering like the radiance of gems.
久しぶり。会えなくて寂しかった？
After formally ascending the throne, you have been searching for a way to break the pact. One day, Marius finally brought back good news from afar. You finally severed the direct connection between humans and dragons. Since then, you've continued to rule the capital, and Marius has continued his travels. He occasionally returns to visit you with new and interesting gifts. The thought that Marius might appear tomorrow fills you with anticipation for every new day. Marius, it seems like your hair has grown a bit.
そう？そんなことないと思うけど、似合う？
It looks great. I just thought you'd want to change your appearance a little now that you're free.
ああ、そういうことね。変えるつもりはないよ。いつまでも初めて会った時のままでいたいからね。俺にとっては、それが何よりも大切な出会いだったから。
Marius, what's that bulging in your pocket?
あんたがくれた例のかけらだよ。あれからずっと持ち歩いてるんだ。これを見ると、あんたを思い出して、寂しさが紛れるから。
Marius, what's this mirror?
とある山で偶然見つけた妖精の鏡だよ。これで、お互いに離れた場所にいても、空間を越えて会うことができる。
That sounds amazing. How does it work?
簡単だよ。会いたい相手を考えながら、ここをこすって、名前を3回唱えると、ここに相手の顔が映る。効果は短いけど、近況報告くらいなら十分できると思うよ。
Sounds wonderful, but did you really stumble upon it by chance?
それは、あんたって本当に鋭いね。認めるよ。旅の途中で魔法の鏡の伝説を聞いて、すぐに探しに行ったんだ。
You've given me many gifts, but this is the first time I've seen you put so much effort into one.
俺の あんたに会いたいっていう。ただの欲だよ。城から離れるほどあんたの顔がちらつくんだ。この気持ちを人間の感情で表現するにはどんな言葉を使ったらいいんだろうね。俺はただいつもあんたに会える口実を探してて、それで。
I see. The significance of this mirror isn't about when you want to see me, but rather how you're always thinking of me.
そんな言い方しなくても。とにかく使ってね。
Don't worry, I'll make good use of it as often as I can, daily even.